Hollywood has always been a land of dreams, where child actors captivated the world with charm, talent, and unforgettable performances. But behind the glittering screens, fame could be fleeting. Some vanished by choice, others by circumstance, and some tragically. In this video, we explore 20 extraordinary child stars, uncovering what became of them after the cameras stopped rolling. Stories of heartbreak, resilience, and reinvention that reveal the true cost of early stardom. Bobby Driscoll. Bobby Driscoll was Disney's very first contract child star, the bright-eyed boy who brought Treasure Island's Jim Hawkins and Peter Pan himself to life. To millions, he was the face of childhood adventure and innocence. But Hollywood has never been kind to those who grow up too soon. As Bobby's voice deepened and his boyish charm faded, so did the calls from the studio. Disney quietly let him go, and the young prodigy found himself wandering through casting offices that no longer recognized him. The fame that once lifted him up now became a ghost that followed him everywhere. He tried painting, poetry, anything to stay afloat, but the magic was gone. By 31, he was found lifeless in an abandoned New York building, unidentified for days. The boy who taught the world to fly had fallen to earth for good. A tragic reminder that in Hollywood, even the brightest stars can vanish without a sound. Margaret O'Brien, she was the tiny girl with the tear-streaked face who could outshine Judy Garland herself in Meet Me in St. Louis. Margaret O'Brien's emotional depth made her one of the most gifted child actresses of the 1940s. Audiences adored her, and Hollywood crowned her a prodigy. But Margaret was different. She understood something few child stars ever do. Fame doesn't last forever, and it doesn't have to. As she grew older, she stepped away on her own terms, choosing peace over publicity. Instead of tragic headlines, Margaret built a quiet, graceful life. She often reflects on her youth not with bitterness, but gratitude, saying that the love she received as a child was enough to last a lifetime. In a town where innocence is often consumed by ambition, Margaret O'Brien walked away before the lights went out, proving that not every Hollywood ending has to end in heartbreak. Claude Jarman Jr. When Claude Jarman Jr. won a juvenile Oscar for The Yearling in 1946, the world expected another Hollywood legend in the making. He was just 12, yet his performance carried the kind of honesty adults could only dream of. But Claude was wise beyond his years. He saw how fleeting fame could be. After a few films, he made a bold decision few understood. He walked away. He chose school, normalcy, and family over stardom. While many child actors spent their lives chasing the spotlight that abandoned them, Claude found contentment in its absence. He later served as a Navy officer, a film festival director, and a loving father, roles that brought him a deeper kind of fulfillment. In the end, Claude Jarman Jr. didn't disappear. He simply outgrew the illusion of fame. Deanna Durbin. Before there was Judy Garland, there was Deanna Durbin, the teenage soprano who single-handedly saved Universal Studios from bankruptcy. With her radiant smile and crystal-clear voice, she became the symbol of hope during the Great Depression. Millions adored her, yet Deanna despised the spotlight that trapped her. By 27, at the height of her fame, she walked away from Hollywood completely. She settled in France, married, and vanished from the public eye for the rest of her life. While fans wondered why she gave it all up, Deanna had found what she'd been missing: freedom. In her quiet European home, she lived not as a star, but as a woman finally in control of her own story. She once said, "I hated being a product. I wanted to be myself," and she did, gracefully, defiantly, beautifully. Brandon DeWilde. When he cried out, "Shane, come back!" in the 1953 classic Shane, Brandon DeWilde broke every heart in the theater. At just 11 years old, he was nominated for an Oscar and hailed as Hollywood's next great leading man. But growing up in the shadow of that one perfect role proved impossible. He struggled to transition into adult parts, drifting through minor films and restless years. Off-screen, Brandon was kind, thoughtful, but deeply haunted by the fear that his best days were already behind him. In 1972, at only 30, his life ended suddenly in a car crash. A cruel, abrupt silence for someone who once spoke straight to America's heart. His story remains one of Hollywood's most painful what-ifs. The boy who once called a hero back and was himself never truly called back from the edge. Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple wasn't just a child star, she was a lifeline. During the Great Depression, her bouncing curls, dimples, and tap-dancing feet lifted a nation's spirits. By age 7, she earned $50,000 per film, millions in today's money, and her image was everywhere. Dolls, books, clothing, and sheet music. But even Shirley couldn't escape the brutal laws of time. As she approached adolescence, audiences' fascination waned, and Hollywood's affections shifted to newer faces. At 22, she retired from acting. Yet unlike many of her peers, Shirley didn't vanish quietly. She reinvented herself entirely. She entered politics and diplomacy, serving as U.S. ambassador to Ghana and later to Czechoslovakia, and representing America at the United Nations. The world knew her not just as the girl who danced through hardship, but as a woman whose intelligence, grace, and resilience shaped global diplomacy. Shirley Temple's life is the ultimate testament. Childhood fame can be fleeting, but legacy can be lasting, if you redefine it on your own terms. Tommy Rettig. Tommy Rettig charmed America as Jeff Miller in Lassie, the first boy to share the spotlight with the famous collie. His all-American looks and natural ease made him a favorite, but behind the camera, Tommy struggled with the pressures of fame and the limitations imposed by a child's image. By his mid-teens, he asked to be released from his contract, walking away from Hollywood while still in his prime. Like many child actors, he faced the challenge of redefining himself, trying roles that never quite fit his earlier image. But unlike some, Tommy found a second life in an unexpected field: computers. Becoming a skilled programmer and consultant, he reinvented his career far from cameras and sets, thriving in a world defined by logic instead of lights. When he passed away at 54, he left behind not just the memory of Jeff Miller, but the story of a child star who bravely wrote his own second act, one far removed from the spotlight, but filled with purpose. Diana Sarah Carey, Baby Peggy. Before Shirley Temple, there was Baby Peggy, a pint-sized star whose tiny face dominated silent cinema screens. Between 1921 and 1924, she made over 150 films, earning astronomical sums and supporting her entire extended family. Yet this fairy tale fame was built on hardship. Working up to 8 hours a day with no education or friends her age, she was a child in chains disguised as a celebrity. By age 7, Baby Peggy's career collapsed under financial mismanagement by her family, and she returned to vaudeville only to see her fortunes dwindle again during the Great Depression. She later reinvented herself as Diana Sarah Carey, seeking to reclaim her life and identity. Living into her 101st year, she became an author, historian, and advocate for child performers' rights. From global fame to personal obscurity, Diana's journey shows the extraordinary resilience of a child star determined to reclaim her narrative long after Hollywood had turned its back. Scotty Beckett. Scotty Beckett was the mischievous child of our gang's little rascals, the boy with the tilted cap and impish grin who could charm audiences into laughter. But beneath that playful exterior lurked the fragility of early fame. Scotty survived childhood success only to stumble into teenage and adult crises. His father's death, combined with Hollywood pressures, led to heavy drinking, prescription abuse, and erratic behavior. Repeated legal troubles, failed marriages, and missed opportunities marked the decline of a once promising career. By age 38, Scotty's life ended tragically, reportedly from a barbiturate overdose. The boy who had once been a symbol of innocent delight was consumed by the very world that celebrated him. Scotty Beckett's story is a haunting reminder of fame's double edge. It can illuminate a child's life brilliantly, but the shadows it casts can last a lifetime. Freddie Bartholomew. Freddie Bartholomew was the refined British boy whose poise and charm dazzled Depression-era audiences. Starring in classics like David Copperfield, Little Lord Fauntleroy, and Captains Courageous, he embodied the ideal child actor, talented, disciplined, and adored. Yet behind the velvet gloves lay a turbulent reality. Family disputes over custody and money drained much of his fortune, leaving him with less than he had earned. Hollywood's changing tastes compounded the challenge, and by his teens, roles became scarce. Unlike many who descended into despair, Freddie embraced reinvention. Serving in World War II and later finding success in television advertising, he built a new life that respected his abilities without exploiting his childhood. When he died at 67, he left behind the story of a boy who gracefully transitioned from fame to normalcy, proving that child stardom, though fleeting, could seed a lifetime of dignity and achievement. Jackie Coogan. Jackie Coogan's rise to fame began under the watchful eye of Charlie Chaplin in The Kid, 1921, where the 7-year-old's natural talent and heartbreaking performance captivated audiences worldwide. Overnight, Jackie became Hollywood's first major child star, his image plastered on toys, clothing, and merchandise, earning millions, a staggering fortune for a child. Yet behind the glittering facade, betrayal awaited. When he turned 21, Jackie discovered that nearly all of his earnings had been squandered by his mother and stepfather. Devastated but resilient, he fought for justice, leading directly to the creation of the California Child Actors Bill, commonly called the Coogan Law, which protects a portion of a child performer's earnings. While adult roles never recaptured his childhood magic, Jackie found new life as Uncle Fester on the Addams Family television series, reminding the world of his enduring talent. His story is a cautionary tale, a triumph of legal reform, and a testament to the perseverance of a child star navigating the ruthless machinery of early Hollywood. Beverly Washburn. Beverly Washburn became a familiar face in 1950s Hollywood, appearing in films such as Old Yeller and Shane, and on popular television programs like The Lone Ranger and Dragnet. Her natural sincerity and expressive eyes made her a reliable child and teen performer, earning her steady work during a time when many young actors struggled to transition beyond juvenile roles. Unlike the tragic narratives of some peers, Beverly navigated her path with balance and pragmatism. As the spotlight faded, she stepped away gracefully, focusing on her family and occasional fan conventions. Later in life, she reflected on her career through her memoir Real Tears, offering insight into the realities of child acting in the 1950s without bitterness. Beverly Washburn's journey exemplifies the middle path, a child star who worked consistently, exited with dignity, and built a fulfilling life beyond Hollywood's fleeting gaze. June Lockhart. June Lockhart entered Hollywood at just 13, appearing in A Christmas Carol, 1938, alongside her actor parents. Her early experiences laid the foundation for a remarkable, multi-decade career. While many child actors struggled to redefine themselves, June successfully transitioned into adult television roles, becoming a beloved TV mom in series like Lassie and Lost in Space. Her longevity in the industry, spanning more than 9 decades, sets her apart from peers who vanished or fell into hardship. Even at 99, she remains one of the last living connections to Hollywood's golden age, sharing stories of perseverance and adaptation. June Lockhart's life illustrates that careful navigation, resilience, and passion can allow a child actor not just to survive, but to thrive, evolving gracefully through the changing demands of Hollywood and life itself. Gloria. Jean's soprano voice and wholesome presence marked her as Deanna Durbin's potential heir in the late 1930s and early 1940s. From her debut in The Underpup, 1939, to over 20 musical films by age 21, she dazzled audiences with charm and talent. Yet as audience tastes shifted in the late 1940s, Gloria's career slowed, and she chose to step away rather than struggle against diminishing opportunities. Moving into private life, she worked as a hostess and later as an executive receptionist, raising a family and cultivating a stable, quiet existence far removed from the limelight. Gloria Jean's deliberate exit reflects a thoughtful self-awareness rarely seen in child stars, proving that sometimes stepping away from fame can lead to a life of peace, fulfillment, and dignity, a personal success that rivaled any box office achievement. Kevin Corcoran. Kevin "Moochie" Corcoran embodied the all-American boy in numerous Disney classics, including Old Yeller, The Shaggy Dog, and Swiss Family Robinson. With freckles, boundless energy, and a knack for comedy, he quickly became a fan favorite, often mentored personally by Walt Disney. But Kevin's story diverges from the typical child actor tragedy. Recognizing that his future could lie behind the camera, he studied theater arts and transitioned into a successful career as a television assistant director and producer, working on shows like Baywatch and Quantum Leap. His understanding of child actors' needs, informed by his own experiences, made him a highly respected figure behind the scenes. Kevin Corcoran's life demonstrates adaptability and foresight, showing that a child star's journey need not end with fading fame. It can evolve into a lasting, meaningful career in the industry they once inhabited as a performer. John Provost. John Provost became a household name in 1957 when he stepped into the role of Timmy Martin on the iconic TV series Lassie. For 7 years, his adventures with the faithful collie captivated viewers, earning him thousands of fan letters weekly. John's blonde hair, innocent expressions, and natural charm made him synonymous with wholesome American family entertainment. Unlike some child stars who clung desperately to fame, John and his parents mutually decided to step away at age 14, feeling he had outgrown the role. After leaving Hollywood, he pursued education and eventually built a career in real estate development in Northern California, far removed from the entertainment industry. Though he occasionally appears at nostalgia conventions, John's life reflects a balance rarely achieved by former child stars, cherishing the memories of stardom while crafting a fulfilling, grounded adult life, proving that leaving fame behind can lead to stability, purpose, and peace. Bonita Granville. Bonita Granville's early Hollywood career was marked by talent and intelligence. At just 13, She earned an Academy Award nomination for her chilling portrayal of Mary Tilford in These Three, 1936. Following her success as a dramatic young actress, Bonita gained recognition as the teenage sleuth Nancy Drew in a series of popular films from 1938 to 1939. As she matured, her acting opportunities shifted, but Bonita demonstrated foresight and adaptability. In 1947, she married Jack Rather, an oil millionaire and producer, and transitioned into business and production. Under her leadership, the Rather Corporation became a prominent force in entertainment, including shaping the Lassie series, in which John Provost would later star. Bonita's evolution from child star to executive powerhouse showcases a rare trajectory, leveraging early fame, embracing new roles, and thriving in a professional life that ultimately overshadowed her screen performances. Her story exemplifies vision, resilience, and the power of reinvention. Martin Stevens, British child actor. Martin Stevens left an indelible mark on cinematic history with his unsettling yet captivating performances in Village of the Damned, a 1960, and The Innocents, 1961. With a gaze that conveyed both innocence and eerie menace, he became a defining presence in psychological horror films. Despite his critical acclaim, Martin's career was brief. He retired from acting at 16, preferring privacy over the public eye. For decades, fans speculated about his fate, unaware that he had chosen a life far removed from Hollywood's glare. In later years, Martin occasionally participated in documentaries reflecting on the horror classics he had shaped, but he consistently emphasized that acting was a closed chapter. His deliberate retreat from fame illustrates a conscious choice to protect childhood, personal development, and mental well-being, a rare and deliberate disappearance from the industry that had briefly celebrated him as one of its most hauntingly memorable young performers. Johnny Crawford, portrayal of Mark McCain on The Rifleman, made him one of the most recognizable child actors of the late 1950s and early 1960s. His Western son persona, growing up under the watchful eye of Chuck Connor's Lucas McCain, won hearts and became a staple of American television. Beyond acting, Johnny explored a music career in the 1960s, scoring several Billboard Top 40 singles such as Cindy's Birthday and Rumors. However, like many child stars, he faced typecasting challenges that limited his opportunities as he aged. Crawford adapted, focusing on music and teaching, finding creative fulfillment outside of Hollywood's narrow roles. Diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2019, he passed away in 2021 at 75. Jay North became synonymous with mischief and charm as Dennis in Dennis the Menace, meaning 63. The blonde-haired, striped-shirted character enchanted audiences nationwide. Yet behind the scenes, Jay endured significant abuse from his guardians, who controlled every aspect of his performance with threats and punishment. The psychological toll of sustaining Dennis's perpetual energy and cheerfulness left deep scars. Upon outgrowing the role at 12, Jay faced the harsh realities of typecasting and diminished opportunities, ultimately leaving Hollywood. He briefly served in the Navy and later worked as a corrections officer, far from the world of film and television. Today, Jay lives quietly, but actively advocates for child performers' rights, drawing on his own experiences to educate and protect the next generation. His journey underscores the psychological complexities behind childhood fame and the importance of safeguarding young actors, demonstrating that true impact can extend far beyond the screen. The lives of these 20 child stars show that childhood fame is both a blessing and a challenge. Some disappeared tragically, others reinvented themselves away from the spotlight. Their journeys reveal the pressure, heartbreak, and courage behind Hollywood's glamour. While their faces may fade from memory, their stories endure, a reminder of the fragility of fame and the resilience of the young talents who once captured the world's heart.